Skechers have made their name off of making affordable alternative to mainstream companies, so much so that they're the third best-selling sneaker brand out there. And people say that Skechers are just as good as the big name brands, but they sell them for a lot cheaper because they don't have to spend all their margins on athlete sponsorships, heavy marketing campaigns, and growing a giant corporation. And Elliott Page tested this concept with a blind side-by-side comfort comparison with crazy results. They chose Skechers 5 out of 7 times. That's choosing Skechers 72% of the time over the big name brands. So we're gonna take the baton from Elliott and cut all of them in half, run through all of our tests so we can finally answer, why did they choose Skechers 5 out of 7 times? What is it about the inside of these shoes that made them choose Skechers so often? Are they just initially comfortable and then get worse after a first few wears like a lot of other cheap shoes? How do the materials compare, and are you getting the same quality of shoe at half the price, or are you getting half the shoe at half the price? So what are we looking at first? Skechers versus On. Starting with the Ons first. The brand is On, the style is the Cloud 6. They weigh 9.4 ounces. They retail for $160. They're made in Vietnam. And the way they position this product is our all-day signature shoe upgraded for more comfort. It's your new staple for any style. Compared to the very, very similar looking Skechers. They're so similar. The Skechers pair, the brand is Skechers. The style is the Glide Step Pro. They weigh 11.8 ounces. They retail for $100. They're made in Cambodia. And the way they position this product is show off your comfort wearing Skechers hands-free slip-on Glide Step Pro designed with heel pillow, so many trademarks and rights reserved. This sporty vegan design features the engineered knit and stretch laces, Skechers Air Cool memory foam insole, and Glide Step midsole. There's so much branding and marketing in that. Clearly very, very similar, starting with the uppers, because like I said, the uppers are almost identical. They both have this TPU overlay, mesh uppers, the linings are fairly similar, the insoles are pretty similar. They're very similar shoes through and through, and if anything, Skechers has all that BS technology that might actually give you some additional squish and comfort. And they have that step-in heel, so it's different enough in functionality, because this is like that Utah brand that started this whole trend and then everyone just took it over. But you can see they have the exact same holes in the midsole, the exact same concept. So how do these actually perform on our tests? We did the bar drop test. The Ons bounced up 16.2 inches. Skechers bounced up even higher at 17.8 inches. Compare that to the ball drop test. The Ons bounced up 2.8 inches. And once again, Skechers bounced up even higher at 3.9 inches. So pretty responsive, a lot of comfort. They even said that it's a little bit more comfortable and the On was a little bit harder, but it had a weird sloping to it. So now let's cut these in half. We'll see what the real difference is on the inside. Are they identical? Does it have the speed board? Let's find out. All right, we got them cut, so let's see what's inside the Ons first. So what's the real difference between these? Well, obviously the Skechers have a lot more foam. It's a little bit harder foam, whereas the Ons is softer and a little bit more sparse. But the biggest difference to me is that speed board. On has done a really good job of developing almost like the carbon fiber plates that you see in running shoes, but for more casual use. And so what this does is it kind of supports your shoe as you're running, as you're walking, it springs you forward. Whereas this, without that plate, it's a little bit softer, doesn't quite give you as much energy return. The outsoles are very similar. Everything is really similar. You can see that little step-in extra supported heel there. So to me, what this really is the Ons are a lot more of an athletic shoe. They're built for maybe half casual, half athletic-ish endeavors, whereas the Skechers are all about comfort. You're not trying to do anything athletic in these. They have the hand-free step in. So I'm actually surprised that they chose On instead of Skechers, because to me, this was a little bit more comfortable, but with that hard board underneath, it really makes your feet feel stable in the shoe instead of slopping all over the place. And so I'm guessing that's why they chose it. And at the end of the video, I'll tell you which ones I would actually choose based off of how comfortable they were and based off the materials on the inside. So you have to wait to the end for my results. These are Micro Adjust belts, handmade right here in the shop by us. Premium leather, solid brass hardware, and the rounded buckle so it doesn't dig in your gut all day. But what is Micro Adjust? Well, the one problem everyone always has with their belts is one hole's too tight, one's too loose. These little adjustments right here allow you to adjust your belt by 1/2 inch increments so it fits you exactly how you want for the lifetime of the belt. So check them out below. On to the next shoes. New Balance versus Skechers. So what do we have? We got first, the brand is New Balance. The style is the 550s. They weigh 1 pound, 1 ounce. They retail for $110. They're made in China, and the way they position this product is the original 550 debuted in 1989, made its mark on basketball courts from coast to coast. After its initial run, the 550 was filed away in the archives before being reintroduced in a limited edition release in late 2020. Versus The Skechers, the style is the S 1992. They weigh 1 pound, 1.5 ounces. They retail for $80. They're made in Vietnam, and the way they position this product is walk through time in a throwback style and classic comfort wearing Skechers S 1992. This retro-inspired lace-up features a leather pigskin suede and mesh upper with a Chanel logo, detailed and cushioned the Skechers air-cooled memory foam. And so I was surprised they chose Skechers because, you know, this is one of the more classic sneakers. It's really famous, it's popular, it's got a lot of interesting things on the inside. But they called it. It is really heavy and it's really kind of overbuilt because we've already cut it in half, and you can see this is built a lot more like a boot. It's board lasted, it tucks underneath, and so that's where a lot of that rigidity and that heaviness comes from. It's like almost built like a boot more than a sneaker. But at the same time, these New Balance, these are probably the worst example of New Balance leather. It's basically just a suede leather. They put a heavy plastic coating on top. And then they said with the Skechers that this is like pig suede, and so it must be this pig suede up here. And it looks like high quality stuff. We did the macro test, we did the burn test on these, and honestly, between the leather of these, the Skechers has a better leather. You know, there's an argument to be made that maybe this is a little bit firmer and harder leather, more supportive, but honestly, through and through, this leather is better on the Skechers. That's embarrassing, especially for New Balance being known for making some of the higher quality leather sneakers. But this is that rare example of a pretty terrible leather on New Balance, so take it with a grain of salt. But how do these two shoes actually perform? Well, the ball drop test, New Balance, well, they actually got really, really close. Skechers edged it out by 0.3 inches. Bar drop test was exactly the same across the board. So very similar results, very similar looking shoes. So now let's cut them in half and see if they're exactly the same on the inside. Is this board lasted? Is it the same unique style of construction? Let's find out. All right, we got the Skechers cut, so now let's see what's inside. So once again, almost identical on the inside. You've got that wedge of foam all the way through. The Skechers is a lot softer. It comes at a 10 Shore, super, super soft and squishy, almost too soft. Versus the New Balance are pretty firm at a 35 Shore. They both have that little window where the outsole kind of pops out through, and you can really feel how soft it is on the outside. But the main difference is, like I mentioned, the New Balance is board lasted. You can see how that upper tucks underneath that harder pink fiber board, whereas the Skechers is just strobo stitch. You can see how the upper stops at that board underneath your foot, and then it's directly sewn together rather than being tucked underneath. And so that's why the Skechers are a lot more flexible, a lot more bendable, a lot more squishy underneath your foot because of that softer foam. And it even has a little bit softer outsole. It's a 65 Shore compared to a 70 Shore on the New Balances. And the Page Bros did not like the feel of either of these. They're both really uncomfortable, and you can see why. It's pretty bulky on the inside, a lot of parts that are gonna be sticking out. It's gonna take some breaking in. But the results of the comfort test were not great for either of these. And especially how heavy and how brickish the New Balance feels, but now you know exactly why. It's because it's like half built like a boot. Then on the foam shoes. Well, first we got the Crocs. The style is a classic clogs. They weigh 6.5 ounces, retail for $50, made in Vietnam. And the way they position this product is it's the iconic clog that started a comfort revolution around the world. The irreverent go-to comfort shoe that you're sure to fall deeper in love with every day. Compared to a very similar looking pair of Skechers. The style is the Foamies Go Walk 7 Ambition. They weigh 11.7 ounces, so quite a bit heavier. They're even more expensive, $60. They're made in China, and the way they position this is enjoy easy wearing comfort with Skechers Foamies Go Walk 7 trademark, rights reserved, Ambition trademark. Casual clog features lightweight perforated EVA upper and contoured footbed and comfort pillar technology for added support. We'll see if there's anything at pillars on the inside of this. I'm assuming they're just talking about those little pads there. But lots of branding and marketing on Skechers. They really go hard with the little gimmicks. Big fan though, I love a good gimmick. And you can see it's two different colors of foam, and you can see even the glue there, so it is definitely two different pieces put together. So those two layers are gonna add some weight. This feels a lot more like an actual rubber rather than a blown rubber in the upper. And it's not quite as wide and anatomical, which matters to a lot of people. That's why a lot of people like Crocs. So how do they actually perform on our tests? Crocs, for the ball drop test, it bounced up 13.8 inches. Skechers almost bounced up 20 inches though. The bar drop, the Crocs bounced up 6.5, Skechers bounced up 6. And so kind of mixed results a little bit on the rebound, and I think that's because it's dual density on the Skechers. So now, let's cut them in half. All right, we got the Skechers Croc lookalikes cut in half. So now, let's see what's inside. So it is truly two different layers on the inside there. The Crocs are 33 Shore A, whereas the Skechers are 25 Shore A. So the Skechers is more of a 28 Shore A on this harder black foam, and then what you're actually standing on is a softer 20 to 20 Shore A. So that's where you get some of that difference of some of the test results and some of the comfort difference. But honestly, Crocs are so simple, it seems like they just overcomplicate it for no reason, because this is a rubber upper that's separate, that tucks in between those two layers here and here. And then obviously those are two different layers, where Crocs are one single molded piece all the way through. So that's why they're lighter, they're more comfortable, and that's why I think he chose Crocs. And at the end, I'll let you know which one I would choose. Next to a really interesting one because of how similar they are and how terrible both the quality of materials are. So what is the mainstream shoe? Well, the brand is Nike. The style is the Air Max 1 Big Bubble. They weigh 1 pound, 15.9 ounces. And the way they position this product is, remember the revolution. 1987 saw the birth of the Air Max lineage, showcasing visible air for the first time. Compared to the very similar looking Skechers, the style is the Uno Alder. They weigh 14.3 ounces. They retail for $90. They're made in Indonesia. And the way they position this product is smooth, sporty style and cool comfort combined in sketchy street Uno Alder. This lace-up sneaker features Dura Leather upper. What is Dura Leather? We'll find out. With the Skechers air-cooled memory foam insole and more trademarks, more rights reserved. And here are the results from Elliot Page's video.
Immediate impressions, the one on my right has a terrible upper. I can feel it digging into my feet. They don't have the science on the upper to make it nice and smooth and comfortable. On the left, however, it is cushiony as hell. Very nice on the left, I'm having a great experience. And on the right, it's a big old no. I'm locking in, left is more comfortable.
Locking in, left is more comfortable. End of round 4, he chose the left foot being more comfortable.
So pretty surprising that they liked the Skechers so much more, especially with the upper, because the upper of this is about as soft as an upper as you can get from Nike, because guess what? Not a shred of leather in this anywhere. This is all fake leather. And you know, the fake leather has its place from time to time, but to me, it's a lot less durable. It looks a lot worse. It gets dirtier faster. There's hardly any pros to fake leather. And so I was like, well, maybe the Skechers has real leather. They call it a Dura Leather. So what is this Dura Leather? It's just fake leather. And so it's this really terrible, like word twisting to be like, it's Dura Leather. It's more durable than leather, so it's not leather. But the leather's still in the name. That to me is so sketchy. Skechers being sketchy, surprise. But also this is just one bad example. We just barely saw in the New Balance compared to the Skechers, the Skechers had better leather. So how did it actually perform on the tests? Well, the upper puncture test in Nikes did 25 pounds, the Skechers did 18, backing that up. The ball drop test, Nike bounced up just under 13 inches, Skechers bounced up 12 inches. Bar drop test, Nike did 6.75, Skechers did 5.5. So on a lot of the test results, I would have assumed they chose the Nike over the Skechers, but the comfort was really what they're testing there. So even though the Nikes are better and perform better and have better materials, even though they're both pretty terrible, they still chose Skechers. So let's cut them in half and figure out why. All right, we got them cut. Let me show you how terrible this leather is, and we'll see how close they copied the air unit. So let's see what's inside. That is crazy how close those are. That is almost identical. I can't believe they actually get away with it too. But on the inside, you can see it does look a little bit cheaper. It doesn't have the air unit in the forefoot. They're about the same hardness of foam, but the Nike feels like it's a little bit more responsive of a foam. This foam in the Skechers feels really dead and just doesn't feel like sneaker foam, if you know what I mean. And the Nike outsole is a little bit more durable too. It's a 70 Shore A compared to 60 Shore A with the Skechers. And they're both built about the same, both Strobel stitch construction. But through and through, the Skechers is a worse shoe. I don't think there's a single piece of the shoe that is better than the Nikes. But so I am surprised they chose the Skechers over Nike. And it might be a similar thing to the New Balances, where the Skechers is so cheap and so light and so soft, especially initially, it's gonna feel more comfortable for the first wear. But over the long term, I'd be really curious which one of these would perform better. But I think that's a big part of this video, is initial comfort versus long-term comfort. Now to Hoka versus Skechers. So what is this Hoka shoe? Well, the style is the Bondi 9. They weigh 11 ounces. They retail for $175, made in Vietnam. The way they position this product is one of the hardest working shoes in the Hoka lineup. The Bondi 9 delivers peak plushness for everyday miles. Overhauled from top to bottom, we've increased the stack height and added a new premium foam midsole to deliver the soft, resilient ride that becomes synonymous with the Bondi. Compared to a very similar looking Skechers, the style is the Max Cushion Endeavor. They weigh 11.3 ounces. ounces. They retail for $85. They're made in China. And the way they position this product is meet the ground with ultimate performance, comfort wearing Skechers Max Cushioning Endeavor, Right Reserve. This lace-up running shoe features an engineered mesh upper with synthetic overlays, a Skechers air-cooled Go-Go mat trademark insole, Skechers soft stride cushioning foam, and responsive ultralight midsole cushion.